Hello, it's Chris. Welcome to the channel. It's the first video that we've done in quite a while, and I figured I would start out with my barn build that we did. I actually had a builder build it for me. He did the shell, the metal, and then the posts, and obviously the ceiling metal. So we're just going to go over the summary of the build and the summary of the insulation that I did for it. I was looking online. When I did mine, I really couldn't find the information I was looking for, so I figured maybe it would help somebody else now. There are a lot more videos out there now on this, so hopefully this one helps you. This is a 64 by 40 pole barn, and the walls are 14 feet high, and it's about 2,560 square feet. The concrete is 4 inches thick. Where the lift is at, I ended up kind of doing like a 3 foot by 3 foot area, or slightly bigger for each post that I was going to put in. That's a symmetrical bend pack lift there. So just to make sure that, and I also went about, I was like 1.5 feet deep there. The lift manufacturer said like 6 inches is all you had to go for thickness. But getting on to the actual build and summary of insulation is, basically it's 6-inch walls or 6 by 6 posts in here every 8 feet. And what I did is, there's purlins on the outside wall that the metal attaches to. And my builder actually suggested it. He said, you know, you don't really have to build 16-inch on center studs in your walls, because it's not really going to be for anything structural. It'd be really just for, I guess, in and out strength and nailers. He said actually what he's done in the past with some of his barns is he's just purlined the inside of the walls as well, and then ran his sheeting over top. So essentially that's what I did. I put purlins every 24 inches on center, horizontal, just like on the outside. They're called purlins or girts, I believe. So, and if in the comments somebody wants to correct me, that's fine. The OSB is 1/2 inch thick on the walls. It's 1/2 inch thick on the ceiling. Because I went with the horizontal purlins on the inside of the wall, to give it some more in and out strength, I did every 4 feet. I put in like a 14-foot upright, which is a 2 by 6 by 14. So basically I have a 6 by 6 post every 8 feet, but in between those 6 by 6 posts, I have one vertical upright, and that gives me a ton of in and out strength. I tied it to the outside wall purlins and the inside wall purlins. I ended up going with foam insulation. It was 1.5 inches thick, EPS foam, and they sell it at Home Depot. It's like a 5.78 or almost a 6 on the R value, and I cut that to fit between the purlins, and it touches the metal. And then what I did is I taped all those seams. On top of that, then I went with batt insulation, rolled batt insulation in the wall cavities. And it actually turned out pretty good. It filled in the cavity nice, and then I covered it with the 1/2 inch OSB. I think I got like approximately like a 25 R value. And this is my Sir Tucker here, our golden retriever. So don't mind him. But yeah, turned out fantastic there. For the ceiling, I did a R60 in the ceiling, basically 3 layers of R19, which is kind of some method to the madness here. I unrolled it one way, and then I cut like 4-foot pieces and ran them perpendicular to that seam, and then I cut them, and then I unrolled some and cut some. Basically, all my seams are ran perpendicular. There's 3 layers of R19 up there for like an R57. And then if I wanted to now, I could go up there and do some blown insulation on top if I wanted to. A lot of guys might have just elected to just do the blown insulation on top, which is probably a lot faster. I did look at some pros and cons to it, whether or not it settles, whether or not it can absorb moisture and stuff like that. Does it? So I went with the batt insulation. I just kind of liked it better. And with the option now, I can run a thin blanket of blown insulation on top of that to increase my R value even more. With my build, I ended up using like a man lift. I recommend, if you can get one, to do it and then maybe just sell it after. That's what I would do. Buy it for the job, sell the man lift after. I was able to borrow one, which from a friend, which worked out really good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the insulation. Oh, you know, an important thing here is probably wondering for the trusses, there are 4 foot on center. So other buildings might be 16-inch on center or 2 foot on center. My builder, when he built it, I told him what I wanted, that I was gonna enclose it and then I was gonna heat it, but he still went with the 4 foot on center, and shame on me for not kind of making a bigger point of it. And I'm sure that it would have costed more to run them close. But if I could have did 2 foot on center trusses, that's probably what I would have did, knowing ahead of time, because what I had to do with that 4 foot on center, I did not want to put the 1/2 inch OSB against the bottom of that, just in case it sagged a little bit too much in the future. So what I did is I took 2x4 purlins. Same thing I did on the walls. The 2x4 purlins on the walls, I put 2x4 purlins on the ceiling, and I ran them perpendicular to the trusses. In doing so, I ran them like 24 inches on center, and then I took my 1/2 inch OSB and I screwed it to the ceiling. Actually, I screwed the purlins to the ceiling, and then I nailed the OSB with ring shank nails. That was kind of another research fiasco. A lot of guys like screw everything or nail everything, or you can do, you know, some people are like, what if it falls down? What about safety? I screwed in the purlins with like 3.5 inch plus screws, and the ring shanks that I used, I can hang on the OSB that's attached to it. It's not going anywhere. But again, follow all your building codes and all your local safety that you can do. Consult a builder, building inspector. In my case, you know, that's what I did. Your trusses, know this, your trusses are only rated for a certain amount of a load rating, and there's a deadband rating for the bottom truss. And there's information on every single one of your trusses has an information tag or a stamp where you can get a hold of the manufacturer and find out, hey, how much can I hang from the bottom of my trusses? Because that's definitely a consideration if you're gonna go throw 2x4 purlins up there every 24 inches and then a bunch of 1/2 inch OSB. So it's good to know that ahead of time. I'm pretty much done with everything now. I ran lights about every 8 foot. It lights it up pretty nice in here. And I ran plugs about every 8 foot, which turns out very nice. I have a plug everywhere if I want one. And I ran them about 48 inches high, which is really, really nice. The shop was made for an automotive business that I had started. After my builder built the shell of it, I worked out of it for about 10 months. And then I realized all the jobs I was doing in here, I'm not gonna be able to do all these jobs and have all these vehicles in here and then be able to insulate and board it and do all that. So I kind of needed the space for all the construction stuff that I was doing in here. So what I elected to do was kind of shut down the business and go back to work at another job that came up, which, you know, it pays okay right now, and that's what I'm doing. So, but the long and the short of it is to get back here and go full time doing my shop again. That's the dream. So, and you know, don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. And if you really want to do it and it's fun for you, then do it. Don't give up. If you have a dream like that, then just don't give up. And if you find something you really like to do, and it's something that obviously you can make money at, and it's a good thing, of course, under God, then do it. It'll never be a job for you, right? If you're doing something you really love and you really like, it's not gonna be a job for you. It's gonna be, you're not gonna ever work another day in your life, right? So with that said, I guess we've pretty much covered everything for the barn. If you guys got any questions, I'm gonna post pictures, and I apologize that I didn't do the video as I was doing the construction, but I will post pictures of the walls opened up, and I'll have the ceiling will be opened up as well in the picture, so you can kind of see if it's something you wanna do or not do. And you know, when you start a job and you finish a job, you go, well, you know what? There are things that I would have did differently if I had the chance to do it again. And looking at everything that I did, that's very possible. Maybe I would have did some stuff differently. Maybe I would have studded the walls out differently. But you know what? It worked for me. I got a fantastic R value in the wall. I got a fantastic R value in the ceiling. And it's northern Michigan, and it's 20 below zero out at times in the last couple weeks, and my temperature in here, my thermostat, I set it at like 46 degrees in here, and the thermostat didn't get below 50. So I think the R value is really good. A consideration with that is there's no windows. I have two 12-foot tall doors and one man door. So obviously windows in a house or any building is where you're gonna lose your, you're gonna lose some heat transfer. So with that said, I heat it with an outdoor wood boiler. I'm sure I'm gonna do a separate video on that, and it will be all inclusive of the, you know, how it was done. This is about a 40-foot run of PEX, and that just radiant heat that it gives off is enough to, just the PEX run where the water's running through it continuously is enough to heat this and not let it get below 50 degrees when it's 20 below out. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully have better videos and more description in the future. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment or link. And before I forget, the reason I did make the video is there was moisture considerations that people had and that I had when I was first doing this build. Would I have any issues with putting like the styrofoam against the metal as opposed to just running it on top of those outside purlins? I have no moisture issues in the wall. I have no moisture issues anywhere in the barn. If you had a forced air, or if you're running a salamander in here where you're burning gas, you may have more moisture in the air. So mine doesn't, I don't have that because I do like a hydronic hot water heat. So hopefully that helps you. Thank you for the time, and God bless.